Hello friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Cynthia_Coffee and that's me. On today's video we are in a new environment with a new hairdo. As you can see, I'm in a bun. Yes, thank you for noticing. Yeah, we are in a new environment. We are in the kitchen because I am going to be showing you how I cook mandazis. Yummy, sounds exciting. Yeah, so today's video is going to be a tutorial on how to make mandazis, and I am very excited because I know you guys are going to learn as well as give me some suggestions on how you think I should change things up if you feel the need for me to change anything. But before we get on to the tutorial, I would like to say thank you to all my fans, to all my family members, to all my friends for your support, your never-ending support. I do not take it for granted. You have been commenting very lovely comments, you have been liking my videos, you have been sharing. It is something that I would like to say thank you for. Okay, you deserve a hand. You deserve an applause. And let's begin the tutorial. Stay tuned.
Okay, so to start off the recipe, I begin by adding 1 tablespoon of yeast, dry instant yeast, into 150 ml of warm water, followed by 1 tablespoon of sugar, and then I try to mix everything. And then as I let it bloom, I add 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour to my bowl. So you have to wait for the yeast to bloom before incorporating it into the flour. And you have noticed that I'm using a soup spoon. I like using the soup spoon because it has a larger measurement, and I went ahead and added 1 teaspoon of cooking oil, 1 tablespoon of Blue Band. You can use margarine, you can use butter, whatever you have available. And then the secret ingredient for very tasty mandazis is a teaspoon of vanilla essence. Not many people usually incorporate that, but I do, uniqueness. And then lastly, I add 1 pinch of salt, and then 1 egg. That's room temperature. Then I mix everything up first, the dry ingredients, before adding in the yeast mixture. So this is a very early stage to be using your hands, okay? So you only begin using your hands once the dough has already come together. So at this point you can use a wooden stick or a metallic spoon, but a metallic spoon is not really advisable because it usually goes cutting gluten fibers. So it's advisable to use a wooden stick or a cooking stick, because rather than cutting through the gluten fibers, it usually mixes everything together. So at this point the dough was still a bit sticky, so I added a bit of flour to harden it up a little bit. And then once I felt like I was ready to start kneading with my hands, I dusted the surface nicely with some flour, and then I placed the dough, which was still quite sticky at this point, okay, but I just placed it on the surface and then added a lot, okay, not too much but enough flour, and then I began kneading it with my hands. So at this point you have to use this motion. You press it like gently as you push it outwards so that you can lengthen the gluten fibers. At this point you want to develop as much gluten as possible so that when the yeast produces the carbon dioxide gas, because yeast is a living organism, okay? So after the process of respiration, when the carbon dioxide gas has been produced, it can be trapped in between the gluten fibers. So at this point I was really manhandling that dough. Wow, I felt pity, but I had to. It was getting a bit tough, so I had to apply so much force. And then I formed it into a cute round ball and placed it into an lightly oiled bowl to prevent it from sticking. Then I covered it in cling film and let it rest for about 30 minutes. Then as I waited for the dough to rise, I placed some cooking oil into a pan, or what shall we call it, a pot, and then I continued cutting the mandazis, cutting the dough into small shapes. Okay, they don't have to be regular. You just play around with your dough so that you can come up with bite-sized pieces, if you will. So you don't have to really consider the shape. This is a tip I got from my dad. By the way, my dad really, he knows how to cook. He knows 1, 2, 3 things about cooking. So he advised me that do not really make them dough thin. When you're spreading it, do not make it to be so thin, okay, when you're cooking mandazis. At this point, I really made them a bit thin, so which is something I should not have done. That is why they never really came out looking like mandazis exactly, but they were still okay. But next time I will be sure to remember that tip that my dad gave me, to try and not flatten it too much. So I placed them in the hot oil, and they took about 3 minutes on each side, and then they were done. They were looking really delicious. So I continued with the process for the rest of the mandazis. So guys, I usually find food science being very interesting, like when things happen when you're cooking and you understand them, it's usually a very nice feeling. Like for example, when you understand why you have to cover your yeast dough for a while. Okay, normally when you're cooking bread, like I will show you in a video in the future, you're supposed to allow the yeast dough to like triple in size. Okay, so that was not the case here, because I just left it for around 30 minutes to let the gluten rest. But yeah, I was saying that when you understand food science, you understand why you need to do this or the other, it usually becomes very interesting. It usually becomes very fun, because you usually know like why I need to do this, why I don't need to do this, right? So yeah, I usually find cooking a very enjoyable process. There's a lot of biology in it. It's very, very interesting. You have to be careful that you don't really become absent-minded, because if you move away from them, the mandazis while they're cooking, they are going to really burn. You're gonna be eating burnt offerings. You're gonna present burnt offerings to your family. That's not a good feeling. I usually really enjoy cooking something which my family really enjoys. So be careful, okay? Don't go too far, because 3 minutes isn't a long time. The mandazis cook for about 3 minutes on each side, so you have to be close by so that they do not burn. And I was about done at this point. This was the last round.
Ukiangalia alikukula in public. Talk about sweetness. Talk about sweet mandazis. Wow. Guys, I'm impressed. The mandazis are so good. Actually, my mom is saying they taste like digestive biscuits. Oh Lord. Especially when you have them with tea. Wow, they're beautiful. I hope you guys try out the recipe and enjoy it with your family. You can have them for breakfast. We are planning to have the mandazis for breakfast, and we are so anticipating tomorrow. Yeah, this was just a taster. This was just a tester. I was tasting it to see if I did a good job, and they're tasting really buttery. They're very soft and they're still warm by now, so it's good to have them when they're warm with some tea or coffee. You guys, it's lovely. So on my next video, I'm going to be explaining the experience that we had on the crusade, the Benny Hinn Healing the Nation crusade we attended, my sister and I. So I'm going to give you all the details in the next video. So guys, be sure to stay tuned. You don't know when I'm gonna drop it, so don't forget to hit that notification bell icon for you to get notifications the next time when I upload that video. So stay tuned for that. You are gonna enjoy. So let me continue snacking on my mandazis, a plate full of mandazis. This is my 4 o'clock snack. So yeah, bye. Thank you for watching. Bye.